Hello and welcome back to another episode of Baseball HQ. I'm your host, Dakota Moyer, and we're here today with Hayden Clark, a new guest on the podcast, one of my friends who I love to talk about baseball with. So it was good to get him on the podcast today. How's it going, Hayden?
It's going good. Yeah, I can't complain. Other than my legs are tired.
Yeah, we just came from a championship soccer game. We lost, unfortunately, but I guess second place is better than third place. So, but what are you taking out of this World Series right now?
I'm taking that history didn't repeat itself. At least I'm good with and Blue Jays not winning yesterday, and hopefully we come out with a dub today.
He's rooting for the Dodgers right now
Oh, that's
in the World Series, so he's going against what I think he should root for. You can't win everybody, I guess.
yeah. You want me to
So,
vote for a bird, a Canadian bird?
okay, what was that?
Toronto. That's Canadian.
Yeah, well, I outlined my feelings about the Dodgers in previous episodes, so if you want to go back and find that, listeners, you can do that. But yeah, let's hope that the Blue Jays are able to pull this out in Game 7 tonight. Scherzer and Ohtani on the mound. So we're going to
Otani.
go ahead and get into our topics today. On the managerial hiring front, there have been a lot of hires by teams. One of them is the hiring of Craig Albernaz for the Orioles. And this one came, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. And there was a poll put out about whether Orioles fans were okay with this hire. And 48% voted that it is a B average hire. Not terrible, because Albernaz came from the Guardians. He was a coach for the association there. But yeah, with a lot of good player experience, and I think he has some playing experience as well, should be able to bring some pretty good things to the Baltimore Orioles organization.
Yeah. Honestly, they probably need it. At least they need any help that they can get. The last win that they had for the World Series was in, let me check my notes, 1983. So they kind of need it because they've only had 3 wins. So yeah, they need all the help that they can get. So they should be happy with that.
Yeah, and yeah, they went a couple years ago, or they've been in the postseason for the past couple years. Not this year, but I think last year and the year before that, they were in the postseason, like 100 win teams, and then this year, injuries and just bad playing led them to not be as good anymore as they were the previous 2 years. So yeah, they really need all the help that they can get, as you said, and hopefully he will lead the Baltimore Orioles back to a World Series.
Well said.
In other news,
Yeah.
the Minnesota Twins made a managerial hire. They hired Derek Shelton, former Twins manager. He managed the Pirates for parts of 6 seasons. So he's been in Pittsburgh for a little bit, but he was fired earlier this year after a disappointing 12-26 start record for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he knows the Twins. He served as bench coach in 2018 and 2019. So Twins fans and Twins players are very familiar with him. And I think that it's going to be a little challenging for Derek Shelton with a bad Minnesota Twins team. He's going to have a little bit of trouble getting that team back up and going.
Yeah. But I think with his experience with the Pirates and his experience as a coach in general, I think he'll be able to bring it back and maybe get a World Series. Because right now they're not doing too well. But that was rough what happened to the Pirates that season. But it is what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, it's also rough what happened to the Minnesota Twins this year,
That was
finishing with a 70-92 record after starting out as one of the hottest teams in baseball.
yeah.
But Yeah, it's going to take a little bit with this young and very inexperienced Minnesota Twins team, but you've got some key older players like such as Byron Buxton, Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez. Two of those pitchers are trade candidates. So we'll see what happens there. But
Yeah.
they've got some building blocks. Luke Keyshaw is another one. Brooks Lee, just some pretty good young talent that they can build around. But it's definitely going to take some time.
Yeah. Like you said, there's a lot of like younger people, so they've got a lot of room to grow and get better. But at the same time, how much time do they have to really grow the team before it's just not a great team at all? But any team that is like not has not gotten a World Series since like the 19 like the top 5 teams, you know?
Hey, Blue Jays.
Hey, Dodgers, hey, Yankees, Dakota. But also, you
Yeah.
can't be complaining. The Nationals did get a win in 2019, so
Yeah, I wasn't even a Nationals fan then. Yeah.
crazy.
Anyway, we are going to move on to some Nationals news. The Nationals also hired a new manager, and this one was very, very surprising. Nobody saw this coming. They hired a 33-year-old minor league coach and manager to manage a major league team. It's not as far-fetched as the Giants hiring a college coach to manage their team, but it's still very surprising considering that it is the youngest managerial hiring in 50 years. He is 33, Blake Butera. He had some minor league experience, was a prospect for the Tampa Bay Rays at one point until he turned to managerial work at age 25. But he is the youngest person to become manager since Frank Quilici, 53.
Yeah.
That that's some history right there. But especially because he came out of nowhere. He has some pretty good records in the minor leagues. He managed the Double A and then the Single A team for the Tampa Bay Rays, and got some championships there. So it's definitely going to be different managing a Major League Baseball team, but at least it won't be completely new at it.
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna be very different because that pick came out of way left field, but he's gonna have some trouble dealing with the major leaguers because that's a whole different ball game than the little leagues, or not little leagues, my bad, minor leagues. But especially because the Nationals, not the best team, they did get a win in 2019, but they also didn't win any games until like the World Series. But hey, let's see if they can pick it up because for your sake, they really do need to. Uh, they it's not looking
Hey,
too great for them.
I've already done my divisional. I've already done my divisional predictions for next year, and I have the Nationals placing third in the NL East. So
And that's why you shouldn't bet.
that's a different topic for a different episode. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind if the Nationals could go to the playoffs next year.
Yeah, not gonna
But
happen.
moving on moving on from managerial hirings and news, Carlos Rodon, the Yankees starting pitcher, has to get um surgery, arm surgery. He's having Tommy John surgery after coming off a very solid year for the Yankees, an 18-9 record, a 3.09 ERA with 203 strikeouts. Helped take them to the playoffs. I pitched one or two games for them in the playoffs. He had a 9.72 ERA in the postseason. Still a very solid pitcher all around that the Yankees are now going to have to live without, as he has to get Tommy John surgery, more than likely keeping him out for all of next year.
Yeah, he was a pretty good pitcher. His ERA in 2023 was over 6, so that's not the best, but he did get a lot better. And the next year it was under 4, and by 2025, it was 3.09. So that was a great comeback, especially from 2020. They're gonna have to find somebody to pick up that slack.
With all the pictures out in free agency and all the potential trade ships that the Yankees could use, it could definitely be there could definitely be someone out there who can fill up that position for the Yankees because he has been a very reliable starter in that Yankees rotation. Back to Nationals news. The Nationals have a couple weeks ago we announced that the Nationals hired Paul Toboni to be their head of baseball operations. He has gotten busy. He has hired two new front office executives. He hired Devin Pearson from the Red Sox, Toboni's former organization, and he's hired, I don't remember his first name, but Horowitz from the Pirates to come in and man and be in the front office. The roles aren't solidified yet, I don't think, but Toboni is definitely showing signs that he wants to make this thing legit. He has already said that he wants to make the Nationals a machine, that he wants to make them a team where people want to go, and he's certainly taken the right steps to get there.
Yeah. Uh, he is gonna do pretty well, especially with those drafts, them being newer. They're gonna have some time to really get better, and hopefully for them, not for me, because I don't want them to win. Hopefully that they can help their team win.
Yeah, and these two front office hirings that Toboni has made are very solid people who have experience with drafting and development and able to pick out good players and develop young players as they move up through the minors. So that's definitely a very good aspect to have in your front office, as the Nationals do. Heading over to the NL Central, the Milwaukee Brewers are potentially shopping starting pitcher Freddy Peralta. This came as a very big shock to me because Peralta led this team to a National League Championship Series. Of course, when it came time to show up, the Brewers didn't do that. But Peralta definitely in the running for a Cy Young this year. Will he get it? Probably not with the likes of Paul Skeens to go against. But Freddy Peralta definitely a very quality starting pitcher and has been since 2018. So relatively short career so far, and Freddy Peralta has already proven himself to be a very reliable and very talented starting pitcher, and the Brewers might be giving him up.
Yeah. In my research, I also found that he did bat, and that's probably why he doesn't bat anymore because his averages weren't that great. He had 0 home runs, but hey, he's a pretty solid pitcher. He has a couple, like, 3 pitches mostly in his arsenal, so that's semi decent. As long as he gets the Ks, that's all that matters. Um, but yeah, like you said, he's probably not gonna get the Cy Young, mainly because of the like newer pitchers like Paul Skeens, who I heard of pretty recently, as in the last like year or two. But yeah, it's he's gonna do great, but it's not looking great so far for awards.
Yeah, Peralta this year had a 7-6 record with a 2.70 ERA and 204 strikeouts as the Milwaukee Brewers ace. So a very good starting pitcher all around that might be leaving the Brewers. And that's kind of a rough thing if they actually do, because who are they going to turn to be their ace? They have Brandon Woodruff, who may be leaving in free agency. They have other starting pitchers that can't fill in that spot because they're already in a starting rotation with the Brewers. So it'd have to be a free agent, a trade candidate, or someone already in house. And my main thought is Jacob Misiorowski. Jacob Misiorowski for those of you who don't know, is an absolute terror to go against. Misiorowski, he's 6'7", 197 pounds. He's a rookie born in Blue Springs, Missouri. And he came up, started to do pretty well, but then it got a little rough. He is 6'7", throws 100, so he's just a menace on the mound, throwing heat. And he finishes the regular season 5-3 record, 4.36 ERA with 87 strikeouts. And in the postseason had 3 games and a 1.50 ERA. 16 strikeouts compared to 3 walks in this postseason. So it's their best option, even though they'll probably have to go with an opener instead of just starting him right away.
Yeah.
We are going to get into that now, and this is what I want to spend a bulk of our time on, is this question. And I'm actually kind of sad that Nolan isn't here to debate this with us, so maybe we'll bring this on another episode. Is this question: are the Dodgers ruining baseball? It is what it is. I mean, I say yes, they are. I am totally in favor of a salary cap that a bunch of people seem to be against. MLB needs to have a salary cap. Now, this episode and this topic is not about salary caps. I'm not going into that. That's another topic for another time. But part of the reason why I think the Dodgers are ruining baseball is because of their massive salary. And I kind of have a baseball conspiracy theory about that. Maybe we should have that as a topic, our baseball conspiracy theories. But every single time the Dodgers sign a player, I think that the majority of that money is deferred back to the organization. And that is how the Dodgers have all this money to lay out and spend $700 million on Shohei Ohtani, spend $300 million on Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who, by the way, pitched 2 complete games this postseason and got the win last night. Spend all this money on Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Hai-Sung Kim, Roki Sasaki, Clayton Kershaw. Like, all these star-studded players that they have, it's all because of one thing, and that's money. Are the Dodgers ruining baseball? I think so. Do the Dodgers think they're ruining baseball? No. How do I know this? First of all, they're in the World Series. Second of all, Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, flat out told everybody that they weren't ruining baseball. At least not in the way they think. Dave Roberts, after the NLCS, said, they think we were ruining baseball at the beginning of the year. Well, let's go get 4 more wins and let's really ruin baseball. So are the Dodgers ruining baseball? That is my question.
In my opinion, it's maybe, maybe not. Because yes, they have a lot of money, and yes, they're a good team, but just because they have good players doesn't mean that they're ruining baseball. Just because the Blue Jays are getting slammed, and so are the Nationals, doesn't mean that the Dodgers are ruining baseball. I don't approve of some of their actions and some of the things that they do, but I do like the players and how they play. So, in my opinion, they kind of are, but they kind of aren't. Yes, they need a lower salary, but what can you do?
If they had a lower salary cap, I would dare to say that probably half of the star-studded players on their team would not be on that team.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that spending $1 billion in one offseason should ever be allowed. $1 billion combined on Ohtani and Yamamoto.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that every single dollar of that Ohtani contract has been deferred.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this for every team. I'm not just saying this about the Dodgers. Spending over, say, $700 million in one offseason, that's absolute lunacy. You should not do that. I'm talking to you, New York Mets, signing Juan Soto for $780 million or whatever it was, plus the other players that they brought in. Salary cap, and I said I wasn't going to talk about salary cap, but salary cap is the basis of this question. Are the Dodgers ruining baseball with their salary cap? Because they have none.
Yeah. Personally, $1 billion on two players, that's really, like, really excessive. Like, you don't need to spend that much on two players.
That's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, Dakota, let's say the Nationals could spend $1 billion to grab those two players and take the Dodgers' whole starting lineup. Would you be okay with that if they had all of their players?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
But,
Anything to win,
but,
Dakota. Anything
but,
to win.
I still say, salary cap should be a thing. If you had a salary cap, the Dodgers would not be in the World Series every year. At least it seems like that. Well, this has been a very good, interesting set of topics. Thank you, Hayden, for joining the podcast. Check us out, Baseball HQ. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Drop a comment, leave us a 5-star review. You can email us, baseballhqpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about the show. If you'd like to come on the show, you could email us about that, and we can see if we can get you on. And also tell us what we can do better, and any topics that you'd like to discuss, we'd be more than happy to talk about them. Well, this has been another episode of Baseball HQ. It's a beautiful day for a ball game.